This is an every morning ritual kind of thing. We come in. Got to start the gong to get our day going. I think setup's one of the most funnest things for me to do in the shop. When you set up a guitar to play, you're taking into account a lot of different variables that all go into how well the guitar plays and how well it sounds. I think one of the funnest things is after I do work on a guitar, when the client comes to pick it up, and I'm always really dialed into when they pick it up and they sit down and they go, and then they just kind of stop and they're like, wow, it's never played that good. What'd you do to it? Setups are strings, setups are the frets. Setups are the height of the bone nut. They're how high your saddle nut is. They're the angle of the neck. You take all these things into consideration. Then I ask a few questions of, well, how do you play? Are you strum? Do you pick? Do you think you have a heavy hand? Do you have a real light touch? All of those things go into how I set up a guitar. And when a guitar is set up right, it's the most magical thing there is. And it's my favorite part of the day to watch somebody play a guitar I set up and say, it's never played this good. I guess as you come in the front door, we've got an old record player. It's kind of one of the cooler things I have in here. It's 1967 Magnavox, fully functional. It's kind of cool. Play old albums on it. I've got some acoustics up on the wall. I like to mix these in a little bit with new and old. This is a new Yamaha. A little bit older Alvarez, but then I've got things like a 1973 Yari, all original. Got a Martin, got an old Hamer guitar from the 70s from Japan. And then kind of mixed through, we've got vintage amps. I mainly just deal with tube amps in the shop. We repair, restore, mod, whatever we need to with them. I've got a couple single stack Marshalls in the corner. This is 1990s. This is a little bit newer one here. So this one's been a bit of a challenge. This is actually a client. They told me they found it on the side of the road. I kind of believe them just because of the mud dauber nests that were in it, but speakers are all mismatched. When I got into the head, we had some issues in the board that I've been trying to work on for a couple months now, trying to figure out how to get it right. But this is kind of the last of the Mohicans for Marshall, the JCM series. So I can't wait to get this going. I've had a lot of guys come in the shop and say, hey, when you get it fixed, we wanna have first shot at it. I guess it's nostalgia. Guys don't really use these anymore, but they sound amazing. So a lot of the client guitars I'll keep over here, and they'll either be holds, things that they're wanting to buy or wanting to come in and get, or they'll be repairs. I got a little system that helps me keep track of what's what. This is light in here. Sometimes I'll have 20 or 30 guitars, but we'll have their name, and then I always put, when I finish the repair, I always put a date on it and circle it so I know that it's completed. Got some project amps here, bits and pieces that I need to get together. I've actually got a client that brought me in an old suitcase amp that he had, and he's got a new vintage suitcase that he wants me to put all the guts of this into, so that's a project we haven't got to yet. This is an old organ amp. I think it came out of a 50s organ, and I'm going to convert it to a guitar amp. But it's one of those projects. I've been so busy. In this age of bigger retail outlets, I think a lot of guys, especially with their vintage gear, they want someone that they can kind of get to know. I don't know if it's always a relationship, but I think that helps. If someone's going to drop off Granddad's Gibson, you know, they're not always real comfortable leaving it at a store and getting a claim ticket, not knowing who's working on it or what they're going to do or when they'll see it again. So I think one of the advantages they have of coming in here is they get to know me. They can even see me work on it if they want to, but I think there's a trust and maybe a peace of mind that goes with dropping it off to somebody like me instead of giving it to a big box store that they don't know who's working on it. This is an old K acoustic, just gorgeous. See all the fine cracking in it, the old nitrocellulose finish that's cracked. It's just got a beautiful patina on it. But this one has a problem. There's no stabilizing truss rod in it. So as a result, the neck is really bowed up. And about the only way to fix that is I'm going to remove the fretboard and then calculate what's a nice straight line to get the neck straight again, and we'll just plane the neck down to get rid of that bow, and then I'll put the fretboard back on it, and it should work. But this is one of my passions. I love working on the old equipment that maybe somebody was ready to throw away because they didn't see much value in it or they couldn't play it, and I love bringing them back to life.